Alright, so hey guys, today's symposium is going to be about YouTube display advertising. Throughout today we're going to talk about the different campaign types on YouTube, how they work, what differentiates them, and which ones have worked for Elite SEM clients, as well as best practices, things to know about YouTube. Hoping for a lot of questions, comments, feedback, make it as conversational as possible versus a lecture, as well as optimization, reporting, essentially things to look for, things you might not know about YouTube advertising. So without further ado, the 4 YouTube video ad formats we're going to discuss, you can see here. Essentially we'll go through each one of these in depth, what they are, how they work, and I can give you my 2 cents, any questions on if we've used them, things like that. YouTube in general is a very good opportunity for our clients to drive more awareness on their brands, on their products. YouTube is, if you consider it a search engine comparable to Google or Yahoo, Bing, is the 2nd largest search engine in the world. So there's a ton of traffic on YouTube. People are going to YouTube for content, how-tos, looking for product reviews. So there's no question the volume and reach is there. There's no question our clients are there and our clients' audiences are there. So how do we effectively monetize that traffic? How do we do more with YouTube? So the first YouTube advertising type is what's called YouTube in search. This is the one that's most similar to search engine marketing for the group and works pretty much the same way. Essentially, how YouTube in search ads works is people go to YouTube like they would Google or anything else, and they do a search, right? They actually put in the keywords that they're looking for, and when they do that, they'll be taken to a YouTube results page with videos. Similar to paid search on AdWords, you'll actually see promoted videos on the top left corner of the screen that'll have a different tint to them, so they'll be highlighted and shown as an advertising medium as promoted. And that's the first opportunity to show up. Now, when we talk about YouTube advertising and all of the ads that we're going to talk about now, they are video ads themselves. So not just a text ad, not just an image ad. We'll talk about how you incorporate those into videos. But the first thing to know is that you need to have some sort of video content to be promoted. Doesn't necessarily have to be a sale video. It could be about the latest line, it could be an informational video. There's different things that we'll talk about when we get to the call to action overlay that we can drive more of a call to action with the different ads around the videos. But if your client doesn't have any videos, they can't really do any YouTube advertising. You'd be surprised how many clients and different advertisers actually do have good video content, have a YouTube channel, YouTube page. So that's what we're promoting here, is getting that video seen by more people. And ultimately, we're looking, in addition to awareness, the same thing that we would with any other search marketing campaign. And that's to drive more people to their site, to buy things, or to sign up for a lead form, in addition to brand awareness. So user search for a video, we select the same keywords that we want to appear for. So in this instance, if we're selling running shoes, that's what we're targeting. This works for anything. So if people are typing in search engine marketing on AdWords, and we have a video about how Elite SEM got voted the #1 search agency in the US at the US Search Awards, potentially we want to pay to advertise that and promote that, and that will rank ahead of other organic videos for whatever comes out for search engine marketing or best search engine marketing agency. Very similar to paid search on Google. You select the keywords, you link your video, and these will serve on YouTube or on Google video searches. So if someone goes to Google and they do a search for a keyword, but they have the video option selected, you're eligible to serve there. Where do you end up if someone clicks on your ad? So you actually will end up on either a watch page. So a watch page just looks like any other video with other videos on the right, or they can be taken to your channel page. You don't pay more or less for one or the other. The recommendation is usually to the channel page where you can have a more branded experience, have other videos of your own that they can click to, as well as potentially having a unique YouTube channel experience that can link to your site and have different headers that links to different pages to your site. The most important thing here, if you're going to do in search, is the call to action overlay. So you can see with the image at the bottom, when someone clicked on potentially this ad in red, they're being served to a video. In that video, we're able to have essentially a text ad that runs at the bottom where there's a call to action and people can actually click on your website. That's probably the most important thing here. Question?
Can you have the call to action overlays in videos that aren't yours? So if someone searches running shoes and then clicks on like some...
Good question. Yeah, so just doing contextual targeting, just doing Google Display Network contextual targeting, having text ads, you can potentially show up on videos.
That aren't your own.
That aren't your own, right? So if it's the video on search engine marketing and we're running text ads on the Google Display Network to target people looking about search engine marketing, and it talks about Elite SEM, how we have a 2-day out clause and we're a performance-based marketing firm. If you just have that on the Google Display Network, you'll get traffic on YouTube. So a lot of people who do contextual targeting, do display advertising in general on the GDN, will see a lot of YouTube traffic because you are eligible to show up on text on videos. What we're talking about again is a video specifically. Your advertisement is the video, and then you have a text overlay when your video runs. Good question. Any other questions on in search? We'll go to the calls to action overlay right after the in display because it's relevant for both.
When you said you serve either on your channel page or on a watch page,
sure.
Is that a setting that you can choose?
Absolutely. So when you set up your campaign for in search, you select the video that you want to promote. The way it works is you actually find it on YouTube in a video finder in AdWords, and we'll talk about how to set up a campaign after the 4 video type ads we'll discuss. You can select if you want to show on your channel page or on a watch page. Again, the recommendation is on a channel page. You want to get people towards that brand experience to consume more content. Essentially, we're really trying to get everyone to the website anyway, though.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you seen more success with the overlay ads or with like a video ad, like at the beginning of a video?
So yeah, we'll get to InStream in a second. The long and the short of it is we've had the most success on InStream, which we'll cover right after in-display ads. I treat in-search, in-display as similarly as I would for the contextual network, more so for brand awareness and really trying to get in front of people looking for specific products or services. And we'll talk about what we do with InStream. Mostly we use InStream with remarketing, which has been very, very effective for us and for our advertisers. Yeah, but we'll go through all of them. After we're done cataloging them, we'll rank them in order in terms of what works. As with anything else, any other Google products, these are all easily managed with a budget. So if you want to spend $5 a day on in-search and $100 on InStream or in-display, all that stuff's at your fingertips. There's no IOs, there's no minimum budgets for anything. Cool. So YouTube in-display ads. These are ads that you will see as you're watching other videos. So this works more similarly to contextual targeting on the GDN, where instead of specific keywords that people are searching for, like in search or SEM on Google, people watching videos are tagged with video tags essentially based on what the video is about. Those are spidered. There's a theme around what a video is. So again, if we release a video about how to do U.S. Hispanic marketing, and it's all about U.S. Hispanic marketing, and it's tagged as such, and you see that in our video tag. Another company that does U.S. Hispanic marketing, if they're targeting that with their keywords for an in-display ad, is potentially liable to show up as our video is playing, as people are watching our videos. So these are essentially suggested videos based on what video you're watching. They're similar to in-search in the fact that you can have a call to action overlay if someone actually clicks on your ad. Can be taken to the watch or channel page. And again, here is you're putting in keywords as well, but it's not based on what users are searching for, it's based on the videos that they're watching. Any questions here? Cool. So the most important thing with either of those is going to be your call to action overlay. So when you create your campaign and you're editing your video, whether it's in search or in display, what you want to do is you want to click that button to add a call to action overlay, and then you enter in all the appropriate fields just as if you were doing a text ad. So imagine this is someone searching for your product on Google. What's your best call to action? Obviously, if it's in tune and has the same type of messaging as your video does, or relates to your video, that's good too. But same standard rules apply here. You want a really good call to action. You want to send them to the best destination URL you can based on what you think they're looking for. And you want to have some tracking on here. So again, if you are using a third-party tracking data, all this stuff, if you have Google conversion data, will be tracked by Google. So if someone looks at our ad for running shoes, clicks to our site, and then actually buys a pair of Rockport shoes, right, we'll be able to see that. If you have third-party tracking, you can add that here as well.
So is this why sometimes if you're watching a video for a company, you'll also see an ad for that same company?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. The whole point is, while awareness is great, and we're not discounting the type of awareness that a video campaign can drive for a brand, product, or service, we also want to treat this as direct marketing focused as we can. And if people want to get to our client sites to actually purchase something or fill out a form, we want to make that as easy as possible. And we want to put our best foot forward in terms of the ad that we're serving on.
Is most of it set up through YouTube itself, and you have to get access to YouTube profile from the client, or is this set up through AdWords?
All of the setup and campaign management is through the AdWords user interface.
Okay, for video.
There's certain things that if you actually link your AdWords campaign with your YouTube campaign, you'll get a few extra bells and whistles, and we'll talk about that, mostly remarketing stuff. Any other questions about call to action or in display or in search?
Yeah, I have two questions. One, are the character limits the same in these text ads as like a normal, like in Google? I'm assuming they are.
Yes.
Okay, and for this, like going back to display, is there placement targeting, like choosing what videos you want to be shown for?
Good question. So there is channel targeting, and you can target specific videos. There also is a YouTube keyword tool, essentially. Very similarly to the tools in Google for keyword planning, you gotta take them with a grain of salt. The stuff that ranks will be Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus. You'll see, a ton of traffic on things like that. You might not necessarily see a ton of traffic for things like search marketing. Not necessarily meaning that you shouldn't go after it, but not necessarily the most accurate tool in terms of how much traffic you'll get. But really good question. Yes, if there are specific video channels that you want to always essentially get advertising or video, in display on their videos, you can do that. Another thing that's really worth noting with YouTube, having done a lot of YouTube advertising, the only videos that you will see an ad on YouTube advertising, regardless of the type, will be called partner videos. So it has to be family-safe content. YouTube does it, or Google and YouTube don't want to serve ads if the content is questionable. So YouTube has a partner network, YouTube stars, people whose channels have been vetted, and Google and YouTube know what they're getting there. So if you do a search for, let's say, a specific car or a computer product, and you don't see your ad and you're targeting that, potentially it's not a partner. So it's always worth noting there's an additional filter that you can do when searching on YouTube or watching videos for partner content, and it's family safe essentially. So if you're looking for your ads, that's what I recommend you do. A lot of the times you'll see a lot of content on YouTube isn't family safe, so there's just no advertising on it whatsoever.
So are CPCs generally like lower than AdWords, like in Google, or are they going to be about the same, or what's your opinion on that?
Sure. So it works on a cost per view, and it's in the deck. Cost per views are very, very cheap on YouTube, which is another reason why it's very worthwhile to test it and see how this works, especially with being able to have a small budget. The cost per views we're seeing are somewhere between 10 and 20 cents. So very, very cheap in terms of getting people to see our ads and interact with our brands. Cool. So this is, in terms of anything I want people to walk away with, because it's been successful, the most important campaign type, the most important ad type that we're currently running on YouTube for the clients of Elite SEM. TrueView in-stream. The way that TrueView in-stream works is your ad will show up before the video that a user is trying to go to loads, and it will play your ad before that viewer's video. It's skippable after 5 seconds. If a user skips the video, I believe it's between 5 and 30 seconds, you don't pay for the view. These can be accompanied by a banner as well. So in this instance where you'll see a YouTube video, there'll be a companion banner here, a 300 by 60. 300 by 60 is kind of an interesting size. It's not really used anywhere else in the GDN. But if you're going to be doing advertising on YouTube, being that we've seen such great success with this, you definitely want to request that image size from your client. That can be clickable to any destination URL the same way call to action overlay can. And the really good thing about this is if people aren't interested in your messaging and they skip the video, we don't pay for it. So any questions on how this works? We'll talk about the targeting. So again, where we've been most successful is when we're actually targeting people through remarketing. So the same way we would on the GDN, someone who put something in their shopping cart, maybe 10 in the last 10 days, and didn't convert, and we target them with display ads, text, or images on the GDN. What we do here is we'll use that same audience on YouTube, and then whenever that user who has something in their shopping cart goes and watches a video, we're eligible to get in front of them again with one of our videos that if they're not interested, they can skip, but if they are interested, they're able to then click on our banner or watch our video, go to our watch page, subscribe, etc.
I got a question. How do you optimize a TrueView in-stream? Are you basing it on the time a user watched? So if they get through like half of it, you know you need to bring your call to action further up? Or what are you looking at there?
Yeah, really good question. So one of the slides towards the end is YouTube reporting. What's new in there? What's different? Essentially, what should you expect, and what is going to surprise you that you don't normally see in AdWords or even on display advertising? One of them is the percentage of the video that people got to. So you can see which people got to 25%. From there, 25 to 50, 75, and then 100%. So absolutely, we'll touch on some of the best practices fairly shortly. Some of them are, you don't want your video to be too long. If your video is too long, people are going to lose interest. You want to keep them in there. So YouTube has video analytics, so you're able to see, that's another thing if you link your YouTube account with your AdWords account, you get more analytical information in there where people are dropping off in the video to potentially edit the video, use a different video. But some of the things that we're looking at in terms of reporting for TrueView in-stream and optimizing is people that clicked to the website. So what percentage of people that actually viewed the video clicked to the website? What we're seeing is a good baseline is about 10%. So if 100 people viewed the video, 10 of them actually going to the site. Seems to be pretty standard. I feel pretty confident that's a good number, but again, we're using things like remarketing, right? So we're using really good indicators that people are interested in our product offering off the bat. And you want to optimize it the same way you would anything else, based on conversion rates, based on revenue, based on return.
I have a quick question on
Sure.
the video length. If you're not using TrueView, is the length limit different, or is there a length limit on any of them?
As long as you have a YouTube account and you apply for it essentially, and I think you just have to be a good person. YouTube lets you upload videos over 15 minutes where they could be a couple of hours.
Yeah, so I'm for the ads though.
Oh, for ads?
For video ads.
I'm not sure if there's a limit to how long they could be. That's a good question.
I see some that are 30 seconds that won't let me skip, so I wasn't sure if that was...
Now TrueView, and we didn't mention this, so TrueView in general, when you hear the word TrueView, it's allowing users to skip ads if they're not interested.
Right.
People that opt in for in-stream don't necessarily have to opt into TrueView, which means you have to watch their video. And if they have a companion banner, you see that for about 30 seconds, and then your video loads.
Right.
So those have a limit. Those can't be like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Is there any disadvantage to TrueView?
No, not at all. TrueView is definitely our recommendation because again, if people are not interested and want to skip, And we'll talk about, the number one best practice I have for anyone doing YouTube is to be doing in-stream, to be doing that with remarketing, and to have a really good branded call to action within the first 5 seconds of the video. So even if that user skips your video, they're not interested, they want to watch football highlights, they want to watch a video game review, they want to watch a movie trailer, whatever that is, even if they are more interested in that than your brand, they still got really heavily branded with your messaging and call to action, and there will be brand recognition, there will be brand awareness and recall. So, and you don't pay for it, which is pretty great.
So you're using TrueView in this sense to retarget someone who's already been to like Willie Pulitzer?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're essentially extending our reach with remarketing
Okay.
on YouTube.
Okay, so
with
this 10% percentage that you're getting for performance is not from you targeting like fashion branding, or fashion topics on YouTube. It's not that.
Not necessarily prospecting and looking for new people.
Okay.
Now again, if you have a negative audience for people that haven't purchased, right, you're still going after new sales, you're still going after incremental revenue. And again, we want to test all these campaigns. We don't necessarily only want to do in-stream, but in terms of what we've had wild success with, that would be what it is.
Okay.
Now again, you could potentially serve text ads and banner ads on YouTube if you're just doing remarketing on the GDN with those ad units. This is a much more visceral, engaged experience with a video, right? Creating much more brand awareness. The other thing that I think is really cool about this, in my opinion, is people online don't necessarily know that you're using this through remarketing. They see your brand on YouTube, they think, wow, this company is like the Toyota Tacoma, or they're like the YouTube music videos. They're so big, they're like a movie, right? Where it creates such a big awareness of your brand, and it makes you look like you're everywhere. You're essentially on YouTube, which is today's version of being in a TV commercial, things like that. Cool. Any questions on in-stream? To set up the in-stream banners, what you do is you edit your video when you set it up, put in your specific advanced attributes, so you're going to click on that drop-down. And from there, same things apply. You want to actually input the text ad. You want to put in a destination URL that will automatically have AdWords tracking. Again, if you have third-party tracking, that's where you want to add it. Sound like there was a question, or? No? Great. Cool. Now, the last type of YouTube ad we'll talk about, and then we'll definitely make it more of an open discussion, hit the best practices, as well as some of the reporting questions. YouTube Inslate. So this is only eligible for videos that are over 10 minutes long. So if you're watching a documentary on YouTube, or you're watching a movie, or something that's much more longer form content, the way that YouTube does advertising with that is they'll actually allow users, you'll see in the top image, to either pick between 3 advertisers that have a normal video. So this isn't just 30 seconds. This could be 4 minutes. This could be 2 minutes, a minute and a half, and they choose which one of those they want to watch completely. Then they watch that entire video. So this isn't being skipped. They're actually watching the whole thing. Or they can choose to watch the entire video without having to watch this thing in the beginning, with breaks in between. In those breaks, you get the shorter videos, and essentially in this case, you see all 3 advertisers when you decide to watch the whole video in long form content, versus watching a longer commercial, essentially a longer ad video in the beginning. So yeah, some of you might have seen this.
Yeah, I like these.
These are cool. We haven't really done much with this, but it's just another method of targeting.
Yeah. And you can combine them with
Hey,
TrueView
Mark.
too.
Yeah.
So, is there a way, okay, so I have 2 questions here. For this particular type of ad, when they see all, this long ad, if they don't convert, or they've seen it and they don't convert, can you set up a remarketing list to not show that particular user the ad again, or I don't know, is that possible?
Yeah, really great question. So they saw our ad, they view the page, and then they're still not coming to the site, or they're not converting, right? By actually linking your YouTube account with AdWords that we'll talk about in a second, you're able to remarket off views and people interacting with YouTube, in addition to what you have in your AdWords account for audiences. So you could set that up, yes.
Hey Mark.
Yeah.
I thought these are no longer available. Like I thought I saw on AdWords that Inslate's TrueView Inslate's no longer available.
Yeah, I know Inslate is still available. I'm not sure about TrueView Inslate. Part of being Inslate is really that it's not super skippable, right? That you're going to watch something really long on YouTube, so they want you to interact with it. We can definitely follow up on the current status of Inslate after the end of the symposium. I believe it's available in a normal Inslate mode. I'm not sure about TrueView Inslate. I don't think necessarily I'd want to do TrueView on this anyway. Yeah. Because if the whole point is if someone's watching a really long video, they are forced to watch that ad unit in the beginning to then not have to see ads through it, or they watch the shorter version. I believe the second option of watching smaller videos, that might be something that's skippable, or those are at least shorter form where you don't have to watch the whole long thing. Good question. Cool. Any other questions on the ad types? If not, we can get started.
Yeah.
Started.
So, for the TrueView ads,
sure.
Are you, as far as targeting goes, like, does it have to be contextual? So, like, if somebody goes to the Pulitzer, right?
Yep.
And then they go watch football scores.
Okay.
You can show your TrueView ad just based on remarketing, right? Does it have to like also have a contextual piece to it?
No. You know, part of the different targeting, we talked about keyword targeting. From search, we talked about contextual targeting through in-display, as well as using remarketing lists for in-stream. All of those are things that you could potentially layer. You could layer the display, but they're independent. So if someone's just on your remarketing list, you can target them through in-stream. Cool. Now this part, it's not super tricky, but it's definitely interesting. So the first thing that I would do normally if I was creating a video campaign on YouTube is I would look to create a new display network campaign. And I would include my video, and I would do it the same way I would normally create any other display network, because YouTube's part of the display network. That's not how it works. So when you want to do video advertising with YouTube, you click on that green plus campaign button the same way you would if you were manually creating a campaign in the UI, and then you click on that bottom grayed out button for online video. So if you create a display network campaign, you opt in a video, it's not going to work. You're not going to get YouTube traffic, it'll just be on the GDN. So you go to this online video, and then what that does is it magically creates at the bottom left of your account, where you normally see the shared library and things like labels, this all video campaign link that opens up a essentially different interface just for video campaigns. So it reports differently than AdWords. If you want to do video reporting, so how much did we spend, how many people clicked to the site, how many conversions, that all comes for this all campaign video tab. And you can't get that data when you're just in the normal AdWords login section, and vice versa. So when you want to see how much money did we spend or look at campaign reporting, AdWords normally, not the video tab, it'll show you a total for video, but it won't break it down. If you want to see campaign numbers, you have to go into this all video area. And that's again where we report on, as well as create and edit and optimize all of our video campaigns. The other thing that there's been a couple questions on, so remarketing to people who, let's say, saw your video. So Vishal's question was very good. We're doing in-stream, it's targeting people who had come to the site previously and didn't convert. If someone views the video, sees it X amount of times, and then still doesn't convert, can we remove them, right? Do we have to target them? If you link, and when you're in that video tab, at the bottom left, the same way you normally see your shared library in your AdWords account, shared library here will say video remarketing list or linked YouTube accounts. You click on linked YouTube accounts, this is where you essentially can add your login and link your account with your AdWords account, things that you get here is more stronger engagement metrics. So all the things that are YouTube analytics in here, you can again see where people are dropping off in the video, as well as, you know, what we use this more than anything for is remarketing lists. So lists from users who watch and actually engage with your video and channel, in addition to things like better call to action overlays, things like that.
Another like type of video that I've seen before is, you know, like the speech bubbles would come up in the middle of the video, like, oh, here's the link here for more to visit this site, you know?
Yeah, I believe those are called annotations. So those aren't paid engagements. What happens is if we post an ad about, or a video, sorry, about this YouTube symposium. So if we, during the symposium, are talking about InSlate ads, and you asked a really good question about, is InSlate TrueView anymore? Potentially if I said the wrong thing and we want to correct it and we don't want people to view this, or we want to repurpose this content in a month or two and something changes, we can actually add an annotation which will show up with a bubble saying, hey, we messed up, click this link to see the latest YouTube ads, to link to AdWords. So all that stuff is non-paid. Part of what people do to say, you know, watch my next video, subscribe, click this link to see the video, the music that was playing in the background. So annotations are unpaid, but they're ways to do more dynamic things and link people other places outside of the video.
I think a good way to think about those is the uploader only has control, like you as an advertiser have no control over that.
Exactly. So the person who owns the video is the one who's doing that. So if in your own video you want to add some annotations that, you know, if you're interested in search engine marketing, click here. But if you're interested in display or remarketing, click here. We could essentially have different areas of a video and pop-ups that people could get to different sections of the Elite SEM site instead of only having the call to action overlay. Cool. All right, so let's talk about practice. Best practices. So in-stream ads that trigger from remarketing lists have really shown the best ROI from our clients. Not something that I'm expecting you guys to really be shocked and awed with, but it is worth knowing that this is incremental traffic because you potentially weren't on YouTube videos. There's a lot of traffic on YouTube. A lot of our clients, customers, and audience is going to be on YouTube throughout their day, week, month, year. This is another place to get in front of them and potentially with a more engaged experience. We talked about wanting your logo and a really strong branded message and call to action within the first 5 seconds of a video. It's great that we only have to pay 10 to 20 cents for a cost per view. It's very, very cheap. Let's get something out of the people that aren't necessarily watching the whole video. Let's still brand them with our messaging and our strongest call to action. So when they're going back to search, or potentially they get around to revisiting the purchase they were going to make or a service that they need, they remember our call to action. We want to try and keep our videos not too long, keep people engaged with them. You can use the video analytics to see where they're dropping off, and we'll talk about reporting in a second. And then you want to optimize budgets, cost per click, etc., you know, which campaigns you're using, based on performances and goals, the same way we would with any other campaign. There's a link here to the ad policy, so what you can and can't put in companion banners, call to action, overlays, etc., as well as more help videos from the Google Learning Center and on YouTube. Any questions on best practices? Great. Some things that you might see in reporting that are a little foreign or that we don't normally see. So CPV is the cost per view. So how much it costs for someone to actually view it. Again, if they skip, they're not going to show up here. View rate, so how many people actually view the video and don't skip it. Views, we talked about that. Unique viewers, so maybe you served 100,000 impressions. How many actual people is that? Did Mark just see the same video 100 times? Or was that 100,000 unique people? Website views, this is a pretty key metric for YouTube that I like to discuss a lot when we're talking about, you know, with clients about the reporting. Again, that's people actually clicking the call to action overlay, actually clicking on the companion banner to come back to the site. again, we're trying to make the case that YouTube's not just a branding play, and that it's driving engagement, it's driving people back into the site funnel, it's re-engaging with our customers, on top of what it already does in terms of driving really great brand awareness and engagement. A video play, this is what Josh, you were alluding to. So you can actually see if 100 people viewed the video, so they didn't skip it, how many people got to 25%? Was it 50? How many people got to 50%? 75, and then 100%. So how well did your content actually keep these people engaged? Or did they watch it for 35 seconds and then skip it? Conversion, so this will just be per view now versus per click. Follow-on views and follow-on subscribers. Did people who saw your video actually subscribe to your channel or view other video content that you had? Again, what we've seen is CPVs have been in the 10 to 20 cent range, which is extremely cheap, right? Display network clicks tend to go for more than 20 cents. So to view a video and engage with the actual video message, very, very cheap. We've seen website views around 10% total views, mostly from remarketing efforts. Part of the reason that our YouTube campaigns have been a remarketing channel is the same thing with anything else that's new or a campaign type that you're testing with your clients. You want to have a good return, right? You want to see that it works first and use the most profitable channel or campaign type first, and then also layer in other things that we feel are going to drive new customers and be part of a solid overall marketing mix.
Quick question on the conversions.
Sure.
Are they considering a view to be anything past the 5-second mark? Like a 25% view is the same as a 50% view if they convert off of that?
Video play and what percentage is just based on the view rate, and that's based on how long your video is, right? So, a 2-minute video, 50% is going to be that 1 minute mark. So that's just for views and for how long do people stay on the page for. Conversions are going to be based on not the view rate, but just in general conversions. So this campaign spent X, how many conversions did it get, what was the cost per conversion, and that's all tracked from the call to action overlay or the companion banner.
Okay, so you only see the overlay if you view past the 5 seconds, is that right?
Yeah, so people that are skipping are, now the companion banner will be there. The overlay, I believe, loads sometime during the video. It's not necessarily up the whole time.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys?
You said conversions can only be tracked through the overlay or the companion banner.
Well, so some clickable unit, right?
Okay.
So if they go directly in their browser to type in our website, that's not tracked through a click. But again, you can use things like remarketing to see how many people viewed the page, and of those, how many wound up converting when have both pixel. Yeah, conversions, we are mostly tracking through those clickable units, which is best practice to put in anything that you're doing. You want someone to be able to click to the site.
What'd be cool is if you could overlay the video play with the click, so you could see how far in the video when the person clicks. So if the person click in the first 25%.
Was there something in the video that got them to click?
Exactly.
Again, I think if we link the accounts, there might be more that we can see in terms of those analytics. I know in videos, you can see hot spots and cold spots and places where people drop off. I'm not sure specifically from a reporting perspective you can see that, but I would agree that would be pretty important. Cool. This is an example of what we're doing. So I was looking for a video, a Florida Gator video, and you can see a Fluke ad that's skippable. It's about 2.5 minutes with our companion banner right here. And we have the messaging and the brand. It was just fading away here as well as in the top. So again, really having a strong call to action here. And then if this person wants to skip, they're able to. And then that's it in terms of questions. This was the video I was watching. So you guys want to link to it. It's pretty great. Florida plays Georgia this weekend. Obviously, go Gators. Brandon Spikes really nailed that number right now. So I couldn't get the video to play in here, so I gave you guys some screenshots so you can see the play development. All right, any questions? No? From any other elite offices? Josh.
I don't know if you already answered this, but what kind of ROIs have you seen on your marketing and stream?
So, good question. So we've actually seen, what I would call case study like ROI on the YouTube in-stream remarketing that we've been running. So it looks to be on par with the type of remarketing that we're running through the display network based on the remarketing list that we're targeting. So comparable to any other display campaign, which again is potentially incremental and something that they weren't doing previously. Cool. Oh, question?
In the last slide, the top right banner ad, that's what the normal display, that's the normal display ad, right?
No, so that is a companion overlay. So
we couldn't hear you.
okay, so this ad is not a normal display ad. This is the 300 by 60 companion overlay.
Okay.
Which you add in that additional field. So now again, this is probably the most important part of this campaign is that, all right, you're watching the video, we want you to click up here. We want it, and this has a call to action that you can save money on it, you can save $400. If you're interested in what we're talking about, you want to get a visual IR thermometer, that's where you're going to get it.
So are those banners more effective than the overlay?
Potentially, you want to use both depending on the campaign type. They're both effective. You want, those are what you want. Like best practice for any of them is to have as many clickable options as you can. For in-stream, we're talking about the companion banner. For in-search, in-display, the call to action overlay. Cool.
You can't have a call to action overlay in an in-stream?
I don't believe you can have the call to action overlay in the in-stream. Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Any other questions? Feel free to email mark@elitescm.com. We'll potentially host this on the Elite SCM blog, and check out Elite SCM for more on YouTube and other online marketing campaign types. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mark.